impossible speeds. Shopify took 6 years to hit $100 million in revenue. OpenAI did it in 2 years. And now we have specialized AI companies doing it in 8 months. The same 8 months that just slipped through your fingers. Is this the 2025 you wanted? Look, right now, as you're watching this, something unprecedented is happening in this economy. We are witnessing the biggest disruption to how money is made since the internet was invented. And for the first time in decades, the advantage is shifting away from the wealthy, the connected, and the experts, and towards regular, everyday people. There are still 4 months to go in 2025, and the good news is you don't need to create the next billion-dollar unicorn in 8 months to achieve true freedom. All you need to do is position yourself in the right place to surf this massive wave that is about to hit the market. And that is why we created the Make Money Online Challenge 2.0, to show you how you can leverage AI to position yourself at the right place and the right time while still in 2025. Let me tell you something incredible. The last time I hosted this challenge earlier this year, in the first 90 days, the people who took action generated over 8.9 million in tracked earnings. From making their first sale all the way up to buying a McLaren, these are regular everyday people, no special skills. They just position themselves at the right place at the right time. And most importantly, took the decision to make this year the turning point of their lives. So yeah, it's true, 8 months of the year have already gone by, but the next 4, those are yours to claim. The last 4 months of 2024 start now, and I want to challenge you to create a $373 a day online business with me, 100% live, over the course of 3 days. So are you gonna keep letting the last 4 months of 2025 slip away, or are you gonna join me for this challenge? The decision is yours. All right. We are live. Can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Lots of VIPs. Love it. Love it. Yo, VIP. Whoop, hyped. Hi. Hello. 0.44. Hi. Yes, let's do this. All right. 0.44. All right, ladies and gents, you guys are in for an incredible one here today, because somewhere right over there hiding in the shadows, like he usually does, hiding in the shadows, is Mr. Jason Fladlin. This man has done over $300 million with digital products, but to be honest, at this point, he's stopped counting. He has been involved. He's a very, very humble gentleman. That's one of the things that I appreciate the most about him. So he oftentimes doesn't speak about his accolades, but as I said, won't get into specific names, but any record you can ever think, any accomplished accolade he has been involved in, he has orchestrated, he has strategized, he's helped with, he's consulted with multi-deca-billion-dollar companies like Zoom. The man is a legend, and today especially, in my opinion, I guess maybe that's just because I'm a bit selfish, because like I'm a nerd and I geek out about this stuff and I love this stuff. Like to me, this is the most valuable session, because it's not often you sit with someone who has such a breadth of experience. And today is some very hard hitting and tactical stuff. And what I will say is shout out to you guys, for being here after 4 days. Shout out to you guys for showing up and taking action and being here. It's going to be rewarded, because as I said, you are in for one hell of a session with Jason, who's going to be presenting today. After that, as always, Jason and I will get into a bit of more informal open Q&A. Then we also have an incredible guest who's made over $10 million with digital products. She is an absolute superstar. Very, very excited for you guys to meet her. And on that note, I'm going to pass it over to Jason.
Let's go! 0.44. Iman, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, we're going to cook here. It's just me, no workbook today, no password. Don't ask about it. I got a couple extra goodies that I will give to you when it makes sense at the end here. That one, thank you, Tristan. But we're going to get down and we're going to do some work. I got a lot to cover, and I want to get through it very efficiently and very quickly. So if you're ready, put a ready into the YouTube live chat right there. That'll get me fired up. And then we'll get cooking. We'll get ready to rock and roll. So if you're ready, say, I'm ready. My name is Jason Fladlin. It's going to be an honor to serve you today. Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's get to work. I think we need to put it on the slide there. Tristan, I'm not able to Advance it. I love live, by the way. All right. Anticlimactic. Calm before the storm. Okay. Is it on there? Yeah. Okay. All right. I still remember exactly where I was sitting when it happened. This tiny little desk in my cramped apartment, surrounded by a bunch of empty Diet Coke cans and a whole bunch of books that I checked out from the library on business and sales and productivity and personal development. And there I was trying my hardest, and I was barely getting by. I had a $500 credit card. That was all they would trust me with at the bank. And I was eating ramen noodles nearly every day because that was about all I could afford. And I had no clue that I was about to stumble into something that would completely change my entire life. See, that day, it was November 12th, 2007. I remember it very clearly. That was the day that I made my first digital product sell for a whopping $4 freaking dollars. Now, most people would laugh at that, but here's what they don't understand. It wasn't the amount that mattered. It was how I made it, because that accidental $4 led to over $250 million, that's 250 million, and as Iman said in the intro, it's now at over $300 million in sales over the past 18 years, including $57.9 million in just 226 days, including $9.8 million in just 8 days, and over $1 million in a single hour. More than once. Yeah, you heard that right. 1 million in an hour. Not a bad payday, huh? And the money is just part of the story, my friend, because this accident of digital products also is what brought me to my wife. It allows me to provide for my 3 children, and it gives me the freedom to live life on my terms, to be ungovernable. What was the shirt I was rocking the other day? I got the .44 on here today. All of this was because I stumbled upon a specific way to create digital products that I had no idea that it would disrupt entire industries. And you want to know the crazy part? It's this. The same method that little Jason Fladlin discovered in 2007 works even better in 2025. Caveat, as long as you use it the right way, which 99% of people screw up completely. So today, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you the exact process, step by step, no fluff, no theory, just the raw, unfiltered blueprint that turned my broke ass into a 9-figure entrepreneur. Would you like to see it? Also, I do have a special guest. I'm going to bring her on a little bit later. Iman's going to pop in, and then I'm going to bring her on. You're going to love her story, which will come here at the end of the presentation today. Now, here's the thing. Even if you don't buy a damn thing from Iman and me, even if you say, I am not going to invest in Monetize Jason, what I'm about to show you will be worth more than most people's entire business education, what I'm going to share with you here today. And for those of you who were able to grab Monetize or will grab Monetize by the end of the presentation here today, I have some extra special resources that I'm going to provide to you as well. So grab something to write with, because I'm about to show you how to churn thin air into cold hard cash. If you're ready, drop some fire emojis into the chat. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Now, before we dive into the good stuff, let me tell you why I'm here, because the story is absolutely wild. My name is Jason Fladlin, and I took a 16-hour flight from Los Angeles to Dubai. I left behind my wife, who I am madly in love with, and I'm working these late nights in a time zone that is completely ridiculous for my 42-year-old ass, and I'm doing all this to be here with you today. Now, why would I do something like this? And here's why. Because what Iman has built is so damn powerful that I had to be a part of it. And trust me, I can judge this stuff better than anyone. See, I haven't just watched digital history unfold. I helped write the damn history book on it. See, over a decade ago, I disrupted Amazon so hard, yeah, that Amazon, that they literally had to change their terms of service because of what we were doing so effectively on their platform. And the people that I helped get started there, many of them are millionaires now, retired, living the good life. All because they moved when I told them to move, and they moved how I told them to move. And Amazon was just the beginning, my friend, because then when e-commerce exploded with Shopify, I was sitting front row again. I partnered with the first company that got Shopify's approval on a digital program, and I helped regular people print money with it like they had their own Federal Reserve. Now, some of the brands that I've worked with, you probably have their products in your house right now. We're talking household brand names. And then came Zoom after that. You know, that company that's worth billions of dollars. I saw that wave coming from miles away. I became the leading authority on their platform for doing certain kinds of presentations. And then Zoom themselves brought me in to train their users right before they went public. And we're talking the day where they became worth billions in 24 hours. And here's the crazy part. I did all of this without any social media presence. I'm just kind of getting started right now, and I'm fumbling in the dark. I'm not very good at it. I don't have that big personal brand. I don't dance on TikTok. I don't post motivational quotes on LinkedIn. I just work directly with the best. I tend to stay private, and I have become the secret weapon behind some of the biggest names that you know today in the digital product space. So I've been around the block. I wear the scars of trial and error, and I carry the lessons from the wins into everything that I do. And because of this track record, the best in the world seek my advice. They want to hire me, and I say no to 99 out of 100 of them. And I only work with the absolute best of the best who have the best offers for the best audiences. So when Iman says, hey man, here's what I'm cooking with. Here's what I built. You want in? I said, let's go, baby, I'm in. And why is that? Because Iman has the very best solution that I've seen in this space for solving my favorite problem in the entire world, which is how to create high-value digital products at scale. And that's exactly what we're about to show you how to do on this session today, because out of everything that I've sold, every major client that I've advised, every $1 million launch that I've been behind and been a part of, there's always been a digital product at the heart of it. I am absolutely obsessed with digital products, and I mean literally. My wife thinks I have some sort of problem. She'll catch me at like 2 a.m. scribbling a product idea on a napkin after waking up from a dead sleep, or I get super excited about some weird esoteric way to package up a digital product, and she's like, baby, I think you might need to go see a therapist because it's not normal. I'm certainly not normal, and I am absolutely so damn passionate about this. Way more than anything I've done, because while it's cool helping people crush it, selling cheese graters on Amazon, some of them made millions with it, by the way, and it's awesome watching entrepreneurs blow up, shipping swaddle blankets off of Shopify. That's pretty cool. And it's really neat advising the leading software companies and agencies on strategy. I can't name names, but you would know who they are. Nothing, and I repeat, nothing gets me fired up like digital products. Because unlike physical products, you don't need inventory, you don't need a warehouse, you don't need to deal with shipping delays or customs or any of that bullshit. And unlike services, you don't need to trade time for money, you don't get stuck on the hamster wheel of more clients means more hours, and you don't burn out trying to scale yourself. Digital products are pure leverage, create once, sell forever. And here's the thing, even though I've been obsessed with this for years, it's not something that I could just go out and recommend to anybody who wants to get started online. Why is that? Because until recently, the skill threshold was too damn high. You needed to be an expert. You needed to be a writer. Or you needed to be a speaker. You needed to know how to process information and set up complicated systems. And most people aren't willing to put in the years and the time to master that. So I had kept this strategy close to the chest, only sharing it with the highest level clients, the ones who could afford to hire teams, handle all the technical stuff. And then suddenly the barriers around it started crumbling. You could generate the content now in minutes instead of months. You could create the content without being a subject matter expert to publish your first ever digital product. You could create the landing pages for it without knowing any code. Just 2 lines of prompt can build something incredible like what you're seeing on your screen right now in front of your very eyes in real time. You can automate all sorts of different things that you would need in order to have a successful digital product with pushes of buttons, and that's exciting. But here's where most people mess it up. They think that this thing called artificial intelligence, or AI for short, is some sort of magic wand. That they can just, type "make me money" into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT says, "Aye, aye, boss," and then the cash starts rolling in. That is complete BS. That is yet to work, and I don't think it will ever work, okay? If that were the case, you would see way more people making serious money online than you currently do. The truth of it is this: AI is just a tool. It is an incredibly powerful, useful, amazing tool, yet it is still a tool. What matters, less the tool, more how you use the tool. And you want to use it under the right strategic framework with the right approach, following the right sequence. And guess what? That framework, that's what I accidentally stumbled upon on November 12th, 2007, when I was broke, when I was desperate, and when I had not a single clue on what I was doing. Now, this framework has 3 core pillars. Miss any one of these and you're hosed, my friend. Nail all 3, and you're like a printing money machine. Would you like to know all 3 of these? Well, here they are. The first one is speed, so write that down. And we're not talking about just working fast, although speed does matter. We're talking about striking fast while the iron is hot. When you spot an opportunity in the market, when you see a gap that needs filling, when you notice people desperately asking for a solution that they can't find and pay money for, you need to move on that, my friend, and you need to move fast. Not next week, not next month, not when you have more time. I'm talking right now, because here's what I learned the hard way. Markets move at lightning speed. What's a burning problem today might be solved by someone else tomorrow, and the window of opportunity is usually very tiny, and the people who win are the ones who can move the fastest. And that's why AI is such a game changer once you understand this. It allows you to go from idea to launch in days or even minutes instead of months. And I'll show you more on that here shortly. Here's the second pillar, though, specific. So write that down. And this is where most people completely crap the bed. They try to be all things to everyone. They try to create some sort of generic, watered-down thing that appeals to nobody, and that's a huge mistake because the riches are in the niches. But not just any niche. You need to find the specific intersection where 3 specific things meet, and it's this. Write this down. A problem people are desperate to solve. That's number 1. A problem they're willing to pay money for to solve. That's number 2. And number 3 is a problem that you can use AI to actually solve and solve it better than anyone else. Those are your 3 criteria. We're going to examine them very deeply here today. So when you find that sweet spot and when you create a laser-focused solution, people will literally throw money at you. I'm talking about charging premium prices and having people thank you for it. And we're going to break that down here shortly. Now, there's the third pillar. So write this one down. Consistency. And this is the secret sauce that separates the one-hit wonders from the empire builders. Anyone can get lucky once. Building real wealth requires systems, though. It requires processes, though. And my favorite thing, it requires frameworks that you can work over and over and over again. And I got some of those frameworks for you here today. See, most people, they launch one product, they make some money with it, and then they sit back and wait for some sort of magic to occur. That's not a business, that's a lottery ticket. The real money comes from building a machine, a system that can pump out high-value digital products consistently, like the beating of the heart, month after month, year after year, creating multiple income streams that compound upon each other. And that's how you go from making $4 to making millions. And that's exactly this framework. It's exactly what I'm going to show you how to build. So you ready to go? You ready to dive deep? You ready to get into these 3 elements? Put a hell yes into the chat if you're ready. I'm ready. You ready? Let's go, baby. Let me break down speed for you first, because this is where most people completely miss the boat. This is pillar number 1, right? Speed works in 2 directions, and you want to nail them both. And if you do, then money will become a thing that you used to worry about. Now, here's the first direction you have to understand. It's called speed of deployment. The faster you can get a digital product to market, the better your chances of striking gold. Here's what I learned after launching hundreds. I repeat that I have launched hundreds of digital products over the years. Here's what I've learned. Every digital product is an asset, period. It is like a piece of digital real estate. Now, some of these assets, they hit like a freight train. Boom, right out of the gate. Thank you, God. I love when that happens. They meet a desperate market in need, and they crush a painful problem. Fantastic. And then they start chugging along and they start generating profits and sales almost instantaneously. Now, I've had dozens of products that have done that. They've just shot out of a cannon and made $10,000 in their first week, or $20,000 or $50,000, even over $100,000 in their first month. In fact, my first 6-figure product in a single month happened on June of 2010, and I will remember that for the rest of my life, because that was the same month that my first daughter was born. So I'm like, Six Figure Baby. I actually literally created a digital product called Six Figure Baby, how I did 6 figures in that month. Now, that one came later, but this is how I remember this. I've even done $9.8 million in 8 days, and that was a freaking amazing week. And here's the thing. Not every product is going to be a home run. Most of them aren't. And that's perfectly fine, because some products are like that steady friend who never lets you down. They chug along, few sales a day, bringing you in consistent cash flow, which is the most important thing. It's like a stock market dividend, except for the return is a lot higher, okay? So I've had products that are, some of my products are 10 years old and they're still generating, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, and they're making 6 figures over the course of the years from something that I only touched and created once. Then there are some products that just don't bite. Like, I've had a lot of flops over the years. I probably had 20 or 30 or maybe even 40 products that were flops in the commercial sense. They didn't just like start raining money from the sky. Instead, maybe they got a sell here, a sell there, and they trickled in. And you know what? That's still not a loss, because, and write this down, every product that you create becomes an asset that you can leverage. So that failed product, that can become a bonus for your next digital product that you launch. Or it can be the thing that you give away for free as content that will attract people to you who will then buy other products that you publish. It can be training material when you do coaching or a mastermind. It can be content for a book that you then fold into the next digital product. Everything has use once you create it in a digital form, as long as you can launch it fast, fail quick, and win even quicker. So there you go. I want you to really embrace that. Launch fast, fail quick, win even quicker. That's the motto, okay? You do that, you're absolutely golden. Then it's not a matter of if you'll start hitting the big bucks. It's just a matter of when. Because here's the dirty little secret that nobody talks about. Most successful entrepreneurs, they have a graveyard of failed products behind them. The difference is they kept launching, they kept moving, they kept iterating. And this is what success looks like, okay? While everyone else is still perfecting their first little beautiful product like it's their firstborn, the successful among us, they were already launching 2 and 3 and 4 and product number 5 and 6 and 7 all the way up to product number 12. And maybe it was product number 12 that made them rich. And that's direction number 1 of speed. Direction number 2 is speed of results. And this one is my very favorite. This was the biggest game changer for me early on in my career. And here's where it's awesome, because speed works on the buyer's side as well, okay? And this is the breakthrough that changed my entire life. See, if your audience can buy your digital product and can reduce the time it takes them from consumption to result, they will pay you more money. Not the same amount of money, they will pay you more. And this is true even if they could get that same information for free elsewhere. And let me prove it to you. I'll give you a real example of this. Say somebody wants to learn how to start their very own podcast. Now, they could go and spend 16 hours researching it on YouTube, and they could even listen to podcasts on podcasting, and they could ask ChatGPT a whole bunch of questions about it, and they can go to Google and say, how do I start a podcast? And then they could read through all the different results, and they can do all that. Or they could, pay you $97 for a step-by-step system that gets them launched in 2 hours, just like that podcast launch. Guess which most people in a market would choose? They choose the buying decision every single time, because it saves them time. Only a very few people would rather spend hours upon hours upon hours to get it for free, as opposed to spending a little bit of money to get the result very quickly. And with Synthesize AI, and this is the game changer, we can create these products. We can create them faceless. We can create products where you don't have to be an expert in them yourself. And these products will be as good as any product on the market right now. And then we just point them at these speed opportunities. And we can develop these products in a lazy afternoon. And this is what was my big breakthrough in my $250 million plus digital product career. See, I was sitting in that little apartment. I was stressed about money when it hit me like a lightning bolt. I don't need to create a digital product that gets a better result. I don't need to create a digital product that gets a bigger result. I don't even have to create a digital product that gets a completely new result. I just have to get a faster result. That's all I have to do. Like Disney, digital product that gets a completely new result. I just have to get a faster result. What you want? You pay the fee, you go in there, the park is yours. You want to ride this ride? Go for it. You want to ride that ride? Go for it. You just got to stand in line. Sometimes for over 2 hours. If you want, though, you can throw a little extra money their way and buy a fast pass. And now you can ride the exact same ride. It's not a better ride. You get the exact same experience once you're on the ride. It's not a new experience. You just get on the ride a little faster, or in some cases, a lot faster. And many people happily pay for this premium. And they do so because time is the most valuable currency that we have. So I want you to write this down. A surefire way to win in the digital product world is to sell speed. So let me tell it to you in 2 words. Sell speed. Let me repeat it to you. Sell speed. And now you can sell. No, let me run it back one more time. Sell speed. Sorry, I got super excited there. And here's your $1 million formula. Find any product that people are already buying. And then tell Synthesize AI, create my version of that digital product, but just make them get the result promised 25% faster. That is a gold nugget. Okay, that just covered all of your investment over the last 4 days. That little secret right there. Say, that product over there that people are already buying that is getting success, create my version of that. Just get them to that result faster. And we call this an edge. And that's it. That's the game, my friend. I've used this strategy dozens and dozens and dozens of times. So think about it this way. If somebody wants to learn Facebook ads, there's like 1,000 courses out there that will teach it to them. But what if I could teach you to set up your first profitable campaign in 30 minutes instead of 30 hours? It doesn't have to be better, just has to be faster. Or say you wanted to start a YouTube channel because everybody's teaching that these days. What if, though, instead of saying the normal way, you said, here's how you get your first 1,000 subscribers in a couple days instead of many, many different months. Not more subscribers, not more money, just sooner. There's a whole bunch of people out there that want to write a book, and there's plenty of courses that exist on that. What if you could show them how to finish their first draft in a weekend instead of a year? Not make a better book, just faster. You see the pattern? Same destination, faster route, higher price, if you wish. Now, I didn't start that way. I started really cheap because I was scared. But then I learned people will pay for speed. And this is what I did on my first digital product by accident. See, there were already solutions in the market that I was selling by people that were far more accomplished than me who had been doing it longer. But mine was just faster. It just cut right through the noise. It eliminated the confusion. It got people results in hours instead of weeks. And that $4 sale that I made on November 12, 2007, let me tell you about that exact moment and why it took me 6 months of pure agony. And now what I had to suffer 6 months before I was finally able to accomplish, you can do in less than 2 hours in a single day. See, I was a ghostwriter, which is a fancy way of saying I was a literary prostitute. People paid me to write articles for them, so I go write this article on it, and then they would put their name on it, and they would take all the credit. They would pay me a small amount of money. They would get all the credit, and I would remain invisible. I was like a writing ninja, except it wasn't that cool. Now, the money as a ghostwriter was decent. You got to keep in mind, this was before the days of Fiverr and these crowdsource sites. And I was making, when I'd work really hard, $4,000 a month. Which in Brentwood makes you absolutely homeless, which is where I live now, but in Iowa at the time made me actually not that bad. I was a baller on a budget. But I was grinding 8 to 12 hours a day writing these articles to make it happen. And it was the classic time for money trap. I was on the hamster wheel of doom. And there was one thing, though, that I got really good at as a ghostwriter. I could write articles for clients really fast. So I figured out early that if I could write these articles faster than other ghostwriters, then I could just charge per the article instead of charge per the hour. And suddenly the math changed a little bit. So instead of being capped at something like $15 an hour, I could bang out 3 articles at $5 a piece, and I could make that $15 in half the time. So same work, better system. But I was still trading time for money. I was just a little faster at it. I was still breaking my back. I was still clickety-clackety, right? Still writing day in and day out like some sort of content factory worker, and I was getting burned out very quickly. Some days I'd fall asleep at my desk while writing an article. I'd be drooling literally on the keyboard as I would write an article on buckwheat pillows or microdermabrasion or some weird esotopic tool. Real talk. I actually wrote articles on those topics, right? This was unsustainable, but I was scared to try anything else because we stay in the familiar even if it kills us. So ghostwriting was reliable, it was predictable, it was boring as hell, but it did pay the bills. And then one day, one fateful day, one amazingly incredible day, as I was bitching and moaning to a friend about how exhausted I was, he said something that forever changed. He says, dude, why don't you just teach people how you write so fast? And at first I was like, nah, that's ridiculous. Like, who the hell would want to learn from me on how to do that? I wasn't some famous author. I didn't have a best-selling book. I didn't have any book. I was just some rando who happened to be pretty fast at writing these articles. But the idea wouldn't leave my head because great ideas tend to stick around. You can shake them off, but they come back, right? Winston Churchill says the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it. Ignorance may deride it. But in the end, my friend, there it is. And so this truth haunted me for months as I kept thinking about it. What if? What if I could package up my write articles faster system? And what if I could churn this into a digital product, this expertise I had? And what if I could make money while I was asleep instead of grinding all days and only making money when I was awake? But I kept making excuses. Nobody would buy it. What if it sucks? What if people think that I'm a fraud? You know, that classic imposter syndrome BS. Finally, after 6 months of psyching myself up, after hundreds of hours of writing more articles, after convincing myself that I was ready, I worked up the guts to create my first digital product. And I was so